Let's compare 2/4 and 3/4. First, let's think about what these fractions mean. 2/4 means we have some whole and we've split it into 4 equal sized pieces and we get 2 of those pieces. Maybe we can think about pizza for an example. We split a pizza into 4 equal sized pieces and we ate 2 of them. 3/4 means that same whole, that same pizza, was again split into 4 equal sized pieces, but this time what's different is we got 3 of the pieces. So maybe from that description we can start to think about which one is larger, but let's draw them also, just to be sure that we can decide which one is larger. So for 2/4, we're going to have a fraction, like maybe it's a pizza, and it's going to be split into 4 equal sized pieces. These may not be perfect lines, but should represent 4 equal sized pieces. And we get 2 of those pieces. So this represents 2/4, 2 out of 4. 3/4, again, what will be the same is the 4 equal sized pieces, but this time we get 3 of the 4. So 1, 2, 3 of the 4 pieces. And this will represent 3/4. So now we can look at it visually and see very clearly that 3/4 is greater or takes up more space. Or we can say that 2/4 is less than 3/4. And remember, this is the less than symbol because we always want this open, bigger side facing our larger number. And in this case, it's facing the second number. So we'll say 2/4 is less than 3/4. Each of these fourths is the same size, so 2 of them is less than 3 of the fourths. Here we can try one more, but this time let's don't draw the picture. Let's just think about what they mean and see if we can figure it out. So for 5/8 we have a whole, and it's been divided into 8 equal pieces. For 3/8, same thing, 8 equal pieces. But here in 5/8 we get 5 of those pieces, and in 3/8 we get 3 of the pieces. So the pieces are the same size, they're eighths on both sides. These are eighths and these are eighths. But here we have 5 of the eighths, and here we have 3. So if the pieces are the same size, 5 pieces is greater than 3 pieces, or 5/8 is greater than 3/8. And here our open end, our bigger side, is still facing our bigger number, but our bigger number is first this time. So this is the greater than symbol. 5/8 is greater than 3/8.
When you write a fraction, there are actually words for the top number and the bottom number. And the words are a lot more fancy than the word top number and bottom number. What mathematicians typically use is the word numerator for the top number, and denominator for the bottom number. Denominator for the bottom number. Now what I want to do now that we know that the top number is the numerator of the fraction, the bottom number is the denominator, I want to compare pairs of fractions that have either the same denominator or the same numerator. So let's look at this first pair. I want to compare 4/7 to 3/7. And I have 2 wholes right over here. They're the same whole, and I've divided them into 7s. I've divided them into 7 equal chunks. And I want to see what's larger, 4/7 or 3/7. So what I can do is I can fill in 4/7. Let me select 4 out of the 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fact that trying to even get to 4/7, I had to have 3/7 first gives you a good clue that 4/7 is probably larger, or it is larger. But now let's color in 3/7 just so we can compare. So 1, 2, 3 7. And so it's pretty clear that on the left-hand side, we are shading in more of the whole than on the right-hand side. So 4/7 represents a larger fraction, more of the whole than 3/7. And the way that we can state that comparison mathematically is with the greater than symbol. We can write 4/7 is greater than is greater than 3/7. Now the greater than and less than symbols can sometimes be confusing. This is greater than, this is less than. So this is greater than, this is less than. And the way that I remember it is that the greater than symbol, either symbol, the small pointy side is always on the side of the smaller number, and the big open side is always on the side of the larger number. So here, big open side is opening towards the 4/7, small pointy side opening to the 3/7. 4/7 is greater than 3/7. Now what about 3/7 and 3/4? So here I have different denominators, but I have the same numerator. And so I encourage you to pause this video and draw maybe little boxes like this and try to judge for yourself which of these is a larger fraction, represents a larger number. Well, let's color them in. So let's think about 3/7 first, and we actually already drew it here, but I could do it really fast right over here. So that is 3/7. I've colored in 3 of the 7 equal groups. And what would 3/4 be? Well, that's 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. And so it's pretty clear that 3/4 represents a larger fraction of the whole, that 3/4 is larger or that 3/7 is smaller. So we could write that 3/7 is less than 3/4. So notice, same exact numerator. When I divided it, because this fraction symbol can also be viewed as division, when I have it as more equal groups, or it's a fraction of more equal groups, so 3 out of 7 versus 3 out of 4, this is a smaller number, which makes sense. Now let's compare these two. We have the same denominator, different numerators. 3/4 versus 2/4. Well, 3/4 we've already looked at. We can just shade in 3 of these. So 3 of these fourths. So that's 3/4 right over there. And then 2/4, where we're going to only have 2 of the fourths. 1, 2. So 2/4 is clearly the smaller number. 3/4 is the greater number. So once again, we could write 3/4 is greater than 2/4. And then finally, I encourage you to pause the video. Try to come up with whether 2/4 or 3/6 is a larger number. Well, let's color it in again. We've already seen 2/4. We just have to color in 2 of our fourths. So let's just color in 2 of our fourths right over there. And then 3/6, we've split our whole into 6 equal sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to color in 3 of them. And as you see, we are coloring in the exact same amount of the whole. These two fractions are equivalent. These are equivalent fractions. 2/4 is equal to 3/6. And as you see here, they're both filling in half of the whole. If we were to just draw the whole and split it only, let me do this in a different color. If we have our whole, and we were to split it only into 2 sections, we are shading in exactly 1 out of the 2 sections. 1 out of the 2 sections. So you could say that 2/4 is equal to 3/6, and they both equal 1/2. They all equal, so 1/2 is equal to 2/4 is equal to 3/6.